Welcome to After the 80. I'm your host Terry Pascoe, and on today's show we'll take a look at this weekend or last weekend's results in the Intrust Super Cup, catch up with Jon Buchanan with the 4X Queensland Residents team, and catch up with Rikki-Lee Arnold from the Courier Mail. Joining me on the panel, as per usual, is Anthony Bomber Breeze, especially after his debut as host last week. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, you're back from your illness there. No, it was good to sit in the main seat last week, but obviously the job's all yours, and obviously this weekend, what football have we got? We've got women's, we've got residents, we've got Origin, we've got everything.
Well, it is representative round, so if you'd like to join the discussion with us, you can find us on Facebook. Just search Phoenix Media Hub, like the page, and leave your comments below. Now let's have a look at the results from round 15 of the Intrust Super Cup. Only a couple of surprising ones. I guess the big surprise for me was Sunshine Coast getting up over Burleigh Bears. But the rest of them pretty much went to what you'd think would be the script. Yeah, well, obviously there's a lot of close games there. If you look 6 points, 4 points there, 4 points. All the games, the bottom teams are just as good as the top teams, but unfortunately the top teams just know how to win them close games, don't they? And Tweed Heads against Norse, now that was a very close game, which was a Channel 9 game. Now, Tweed are getting some quality players back for their side, aren't they, from the Titans? Yeah, well, like we were talking earlier there, any team that can get Kane Elgee, Conrad Hurrell, Bryce Cartwright back there, 3 quality NRL players from the last couple of years, so it steads well for your team, doesn't it? It does, and look, I'll be the first one to admit that I may have been a bit negative about Bryce Cartwright and wondering if he would be a good fit for any side with the way he wasn't putting his body on the line, but watching the game on Saturday, he was impressive. Yeah, well, obviously he's gone back there. He probably deserved to be dropped. He hasn't been putting his body on the line. He went back there and he's obviously showed that what he can do, and everyone knows that he is a class player when he wants to be. And a few teams were a bit unlucky not to get away with the win. Mackay, obviously, they were leading up to the last minute. Central were leading up until the last minute. Wynnum were leading in the first half, but unfortunately had not the second half didn't go their way. But with huge news coming out yesterday that Neil Henry's joining the coaching staff. He's a former Titans and Cowboys coach. Geez, you wouldn't want to be the head coach at Wynnum at the moment if you've got someone like Neil Henry coming in as your head coach. Well, it's hard to say what he's doing down there. Is he the head coach for next year, or is he coming in as a coaching development role to get the club back on track? But, well, obviously big news ahead coming. Well, yeah, I'd be thinking that, but, you know, I'm not part of the Wynnum board, so I don't know. No. All right, now, the game that I did like on the weekend was the Burleigh versus Sunshine Coast. So this was a huge win for Sunshine Coast. It gets them up and gets them a bit of momentum and confidence in their side to say that, hey, we've just knocked off the number 1 team. Well, obviously they would have went into this game there, obviously realising that they couldn't afford another loss, and pushes them way down there, and you're playing the competition leaders there, but obviously they looked like scoring there, and what a great try here from Ratuva there. Yeah, running 90 metres, look at that pace, and on a stage where in the first 6 minutes of the game, Burleigh looked very dominant, looked like they were going to score. It was good to see that they changed a bit of momentum in the game, and that was truly, like, we talk about decisions that happened in the last 5 minutes of a game, but let's look at the decisions like that in the first half of the game, first 6 minutes. Like, if Burleigh score there, that puts them on the front foot, and I guess Sunny Coast have their heads down, where, you know, Sunny Coast get the ball back, score, and the momentum of the game and a bit of mentality goes their way. Yeah, well, obviously the big word is momentum, isn't it? They score early, Burleigh, and it could have been a whole different game there. And then Sunny Coast take the intercept, they score, and they get on a bit of a roll, and that's it. They shut the game up, and it was a good win for them. Now, the Burleigh brothers, Dallas and Hanari Wells, sparked the attack just before half-time, which I guess got them on the front foot after probably not the greatest start, but no tries in the second half. Yeah, well, obviously them two there, they are quality players there. Maybe they're not having the best season so far, but obviously they were good on the weekend there, and that's it. Got them over the line, so a tough game. What was the pick of the games for you on the weekend? I was up at the Ipswich game, the Ipswich P&G game. It was Harmony Day for the Ipswich Jets up there. They had a lot of P&G stalls and food and all that there. The return of Billy McConaughey there, he had a very good game there. He lasted a long period as well. They were also without Sam Kaslik and Julian Christian, so they brought in
Chris Ash come in there. So and Michael Purcell, the kangaroo catcher, he was back and he had quite a good game as well. This was the first try from Ipswich. They got over to an 8-point lead, and then P&G hit back here, and then for the next 60 minutes, it was just defence. The Jets probably had a little bit more on the attacking side of it there, but it was always the last pass or an intercept back in. Marmon made a few breaks there, but that was it. It was a very tough defensive game.
That's right, and it was Friday night game, Ipswich Cup, obviously on Saturday. So I'm assuming that's why it was pushed to Friday night. But even though it was the scoreline shows that it would be a more defensive orientated game and 60 minutes without a try, it was still very entertaining. Like there's still a lot of breaks that just never turn around or turn into points.
Yeah, well, like I said, Marmon made a few breaks. He made a big dash down the sideline, sidestep through an inside ball to the middle there, and it just got intercepted. And P&G made a couple of good breaks too, but it was just the end passes or the end second pass that just didn't get there. So, but like you said, the purists like tries and all that. They like score lines there, but I thought this was a fantastic game. So.
And that footage was courtesy of the QRL media. If you'd like to see all the highlights from round 15 of the Intrust Super Cup, please head to qrl.com.au. Now let's head deep into Origin camp with Rikki-Lee Arnold from the Courier Mail. Thanks for joining us.
No worries, thanks for having me.
Now before we start talking about Origin, what did you make of last weekend's Intrust Super Cup games?
Oh, it was another good round, a lot of interesting results I thought, particularly Townsville have moved into first place now after their win over Mackay, but even that was a close one. A great match. Good to see Mackay was able to get a few points on the board, even if they didn't come away with the win. But yeah, just interesting to see a bit of that shake-up now with Townsville in the league.
Yeah, look, it was a bit of a surprise because the scorecard doesn't really show what kind of the games they were, because everyone was expecting Townsville to win, everyone was expecting East to win. But these guys didn't win comfortably. They won on the margin.
Yeah, they did. And East, I think, Capras had a pretty good lead at half-time as well. So East had to really fight back there. And it's quite surprising because with the team they have at the moment, you don't think that's what they would be doing. But it's certainly the case at the moment. And I guess if you were Scott Sipple, you would be hoping that things would start to become a bit more consistent coming up as they head into the finals. But they definitely have a bit to work on there, the Tigers.
Now, what's the Queensland or the 4X Queensland resident side was named on Saturday? What's your take on the combinations?
You know what, I actually think it's a really strong side. I think Jon Buchanan and his selectors have done a good job to deliver on their promise to retain as much of that side as they could. I think that there's 7, so it's probably not as much as they had hoped, but there were a lot of injuries. They lost Jerome Hughes and Tom Opachik to NRL duties. Those guys have now played more NRL games and Intrust Super Cup games and therefore are ineligible. But I still think they've done a really good job. I like the halves combination of Walters and Fogarty, and the way that spine is half Burleigh, half East. And the forward pack, I thought that was a great forward pack that's been named. I just think they've really hit the nail on the head there with that team.
And also Drinkwater in a fullback as well, which made a good, especially after his performance on Sunday, got the win for him.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Drinkwater's been probably one of East's best all year long. Like we said, they haven't been getting the results we thought they would have, but they've had a few standouts, and those standouts have been rewarded, not just Drinkwater, but also Pat Kafusi. And obviously Walters was there last year, and he's always one of East's best players. So those 3 have been rewarded, and I think Drinkwater can bring a lot to that team. I mean, I think he's actually a New South Welshman, so he has switched up allegiances for this weekend, but he could bring a lot of excitement to that team, definitely.
Now, it's a huge weekend of football, starting on Friday night with the Women's State of Origin game. What are you most looking forward to this weekend?
Oh, that is a tricky one because for the Courier Mail, I cover the NRL, obviously, Women's and Intrust Super Cup, so it's a big combination of all my favourite things this weekend. But I have to say, I really hope that the Women's State of Origin gets the recognition it deserves. That a lot of people turn out at North Sydney Oval on Friday night, and then a lot of people tune in as well. It's live on Fox Sports and Channel 9. So, it's a big step forward for the women's game. Queensland have have lost the last 2 years as well. So they've got 5 debutants on Friday night. I'm just really hoping that they can put up a really good fight, because the New South Wales women, they've almost become the stars of the game at the moment, and it'd be good to see Queensland, just take one back for once.
That's right. Well, what will we see from you on the Courier Mail tomorrow?
You'll see a lot. I'm going to have a chat to Billy Walters today. He'll obviously, the residents are coming out to Maroons camp in 1 hour, and they're going to do a contested session with the men's Origin team. So we'll have a chat to Billy Walters after. Obviously, he'll be playing in the residents match, which is the curtain raiser to Origin 2, with his dad coaching the Queensland team. So it'll be a nice day for the family, hopefully.
Well, they're doing a post session this morning with the Origin side. We better not hold you up. Forget about Pete Bedell. If you want to see all your latest rugby league news, keep your eye out for Rikki-Lee's story in the Courier Mail. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, shortly we'll catch up with the 4X Residents coach, Jon Buchanan. But first, let's have a look at the competition ladder after round 15. Obviously, Townsville coming up to the top of the ladder and knocking off Burleigh, and Burleigh's been there quite consistently for a while.
Yeah, well, it's only on for and against there, but obviously the Blackhawks had a bit of a stutter there for a while, but they've found a bit of form there, and you can see the Cream's still at the top there with the Blackhawks, Burleigh and Redcliffe there. Tweed, obviously, with their good run, brings them on the page, and like we said earlier, Sunny Coast, another win for them, keeps them on the first page and in the top 8.
I know, and if Sunny Coast keep this run going, they'll be in for finals contention. They moved up to 7th, and yeah, I guess Tweed Heads has just been a remarkable story. But like I said, is it down to them having good players? Well, I don't know if it's good players, but they've had injuries to their normal side, but obviously the replacements have been first-grade players.
Well, obviously when you get injuries to ones like Braden McGrady there, and you're bringing a Conrad Hurrell in, or a Kane LG, or a Bryce Cartwright, it's a good problem to have.
Well, it certainly is. And if we look over the page, not much has changed other than East starting to make a bit of a surge for the top of the ladder, but Ipswich Jets seem to be falling behind, even though they did get away with a win.
Yeah, well, the Jets' problem is they're for and against. Like I said, they're equal 6 on the ladder there, but they're for and against. Obviously, isn't the best there, and that's what puts them. So over the second part of the season, they'll have to try and increase with their wins, their for and against.
Now let's head back to Origin camp. 4X Queensland Residents coach Jon Buchanan joins us now. Mate, thanks for your time.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Mate, how's the boys going in camp at the moment?
Yeah, no, it's been fairly relaxed. We only had one sort of field session yesterday, and today we're obviously training, doing a post session against the Origin side. So yeah, our session yesterday was really good. Yeah, sort of clicked fairly quickly, and yeah, hopefully we can do the same this morning.
Mate, you got a bit of a different approach to this kind of game, this representative games. I was talking to Nat Neal the other week at Ipswich, and he was saying, previous coaches used to probably put a bit more emphasis in training and belting them around, but you do a different approach. You're a bit more mateship and get them to bond a bit better.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if what I do is the right way of doing it, but look, they come into this camp, they obviously can play football and they're fit and strong and all those sorts of things coming out of club footy. It's just about making sure that they're fresh by the weekend, and they've got some combinations happening, and they're a pretty tight-knit group, and yeah, that's all I try to do is create an environment that we can get that sort of result happening as a group, and then obviously hope it translates into our performance on the field.
Mate, a bit like last year, you had some very tough selections decisions to make. I guess it shows the strength of the Intrust Super Cup.
Oh, well, it's even tougher this year, to be honest. We just found this year that the number of quality players in just about every position just found it difficult. And obviously, how far into the competition we had to go before we picked the team. Last year, I think we played 8 rounds. This year, obviously, 14 rounds. And yeah, some guys were penciled in early, and then they went out, and other guys come in. So it's just about making sure the guys we brought in were really consistent with their club footy, and we think we've managed to do that.
Now you have obviously Walters back in the halves, but he's also joined with Fogarty and Drinkwater. I guess the halves combinations would have been a very tight decision with so many good quality halves in the Intrust Super Cup, including your own halves for South Logan with Sam Scarlett and Guy Hamilton.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like those two guys were spoken about at the selection table. We just feel that, obviously Billy was there last year, did a really good job for us. And obviously Jamal, we just feel he's probably been the best half in the comp this year. His team's been running first for most of the year, and everything that good that happens at Burleigh, he's sort of involved in. So we just, we thought he was an obvious choice for us in the end.
Mate, have you selected a captain as yet?
Yeah, captain will be Blake Leary. Blake Leary captained the side last year, so he'll do the job again this year.
He's got a mountain of experience with him. Obviously, his time with Manly and the Cowboys, but as well as, like you said, leading the competition last year.
Oh, definitely. He's really good around our group as well. Like, he's got a lot of respect, and when he talks, it's one thing I noticed last year when he spoke. He doesn't say a lot, but when he does, all the boys are really receptive of it. And we just think, between him and Sam Anderson there, we've got some experience. Jamal Fogarty's obviously got plenty of experience as well. So yeah, we've got enough guys there that can contribute when we need them to, and make sure we're going in the right direction.
Now, this game, the Residents game, has been last few years been played at Langlands Park or Suzuki Stadium. It's gone back to, I guess, how it used to be played as a curtain raiser before the State of Origin. Do the boys prefer to be playing as a curtain raiser before the big game, or do they like having the standalone?
Yeah, I haven't really asked too many of them, but I think, to be on the Origin stage is something that they're all excited about. So, no disrespect to the standalone sort of game at Langlands. It probably just at times can lack that, I suppose, little bit of atmosphere. But this should be an amazing experience for all of us involved. So I know they're all really excited and glad that it is on the Origin stage. So yeah, just looking forward to that fact.
And we just spoke with Rikki-Lee Arnold from the Courier Mail, and I guess it's good for the Walters family as well. Not only Kevy coaching the main side, but having his son play in the Residents game beforehand.
Yeah, it'd be terrific for their family, obviously. Billy's an exceptional footballer in his own right. And, he's great to have around our group. He's a cheeky little bugger and just one of those guys you enjoy having in your footy side. So, obviously for the family itself, it'll be a terrific afternoon, and hopefully we're able to get a result in both games.
JB, I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree with Billy. So, mate, good luck on Sunday. And look, we hope you can get away for another big win.
No worries at all. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, JB. Now let's have a look at the Residents side. It's a good spread of talent across the field, Bomber, with 10 teams represented in this Residents side. Is there any standouts for you?
Well, obviously it's going to come down to, like JB said there, the halves there, Jamal Fogarty, Billy Walters. They're in great form, leading them around the park there. But if you have a look at the back line there, you've got Jonas Pearson there from Redcliffe there. He's played NRL. Kalaya Fifialoa there and Jadamat Shabaski there. They're all in good form. So,
yeah, and you got Jonas Pearson, also Khalifa Fifialoa playing on the wing as well. He was dynamite for the Townsville Blackhawks on the weekend. Blake Leary is captain, and Nat Neal in the full pack as well.
Well, obviously Nat was there last year, but he's been in great form. He missed last week's game, so obviously he's going to come into this game fresh. So, but he's been in great form this year for the Jets.
And Jake Clifford is 18th man, which is a good person to have there just in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, well, you never know. Training camp and they're going opposed to the Origin camp. Only need somebody run a little bit harder, or a little arm out somewhere, and somebody's out. So that's it. It's a good call-up, good recognition for his form too this year.
And we'll have a look at the New South Wales side. A few surprise selections there, but Aaron Gray in at fullback and a halves combination of Britt and Murphy as well.
Yeah, well, I'm not quite sure on some of these ones there. Obviously, you've got some names there. You've got Aaron Gray, who has played for South Sydney there, Bailey Sirinen there, and like you said, they're halves in there, and Britt and Murphy there, and then you've got Kyle Flanagan there as well. So and Tasai Matangi there down at 18 there. Obviously, he's had some NRL experience with the Parramatta Eels. So,
and this game will be live streamed on the QRL website about 4 o'clock or 10 past 4 is kickoff. So stick around. It's good to see we also got an Intrust Super Cup referee in this game as well. So we've got our little touch of the game, so it's not all New South Wales way, Bomber.
Yeah, well, that's a good call up there. Everybody's got to get a chance. So.
That's all the time we have for. Bomber, thanks for your hard work.
No worries. And like I said earlier, a big weekend of rugby league, and I'm sure we'll review them games next week.
No worries. And also a big thank you to Coach Jon Buchanan and Rikki-Lee Arnold from the Courier Mail for joining us. If you'd like to keep up to date with the show, make sure you head to our Facebook page, Phoenix Media Hub. I'm Terry Pascoe. See you next week. Right.